Welcome to episode 6 of Dirty Discussions with Doc. And I'm back with my homie Clay because we just have so much to talk about that we did not get to talk about. So we're going to finish it up, finish our conversation. So hold on real quick. This topic is about consent beyond yes, power, pressure, and boundaries. Okay, so quick recap on episode 6. Your mic. We were talking about in episode 6. We spoke a little bit about how the power dynamics of being labeled as a male sex worker, right? Um, Today's theme is more about consent. And we touched a little bit about it on episode 5 when we spoke about, like, when I asked you if you felt like they could do whatever they want to you because they paid, right? Or like they felt that they could do whatever they want.
Or treat me how they want.
Or treat you how they wanted to treat you because they were paying you for a service,
Yes.
right? So is consent about the word yes and about the why behind the yes?
I think so, yeah.
Why?
I don't actually think it's about the why behind the yes. I think it's all about the overall agreement of someone to go and, I would say, complete the entire situation. Because consent can be lifted during a situation if the circumstances changes from the beginning.
So consent can change, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I could be fully attracted to you,
Yeah.
right? And I could be with all of the shits.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one reason that I don't, Kim, can you, this is one reason I don't like to promise men anything.
Yeah.
Like, your mic needs to be closer. All right.
Oh, maybe that's
Right. So I don't like to promise men anything, right? They're like, oh, when I see you, are you going to do this? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I see you.
Yeah.
Because it depends on what the vibe is when I see you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make any promises I can't keep.
Or that you don't want to keep.
Or that I don't want to keep, but mostly that I can't keep.
Yeah.
Because I may feel this way now. I my like button is broken. And I may like you a lot right now, and then I may not like you later, right? And it could be like the slightest little thing, and I will promise you that it's probably not you, and it's probably me,
Yeah.
right? Or it could be you. Either way, right?
It's like that with women. It's not you, it's me. I get it.
But things can change, and I could say yes, 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 and then get to that edge and be like, no.
Yeah.
Does my no count after I said yes, 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 yes all this time?
There are hundreds of thousands of men in jail right now because that situation happened.
Yes.
So, yes, it does count.
So I feel like we should educate some of these guys on what consent is. I myself go to a lot of what's called lifestyle parties where people are having consensual, ethically non-monogamous relationships, and a lot of them encounter sexual activities, right? And they all know what they're getting into. And consent is like one of the biggest topics of conversations in my groups.
Yes.
Right? So is consent different when you're being paid?
I don't think so. Consent is consent. Consent, even if someone is paying you, they're paying you for something that you feel at the time they're paying you is what you're supposed to do. So if that changes during any time after they pay you and you decide I don't want to be a part of this anymore, you don't necessarily have to continue unless you're in a situation where you feel you have to continue. So you can still lift consent, but you can go away with it because you have no choice to do it because now you're in a situation where you kind of feel you have to.
Wait, say that again.
I said, okay.
Short version.
I want to say it a shorter version so it's better understood. Okay, so you can agree to do something in the beginning, but the situation can change as it develops. Let's say you get to someone and they pay you to come because they want to sleep with you. This guy thinks it's going to be regular. You're just going to have a good time, but now you start to sleep with him and he takes out toys where he wants to beat you, or he starts asking you really weird things that make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, I like it. I like when they pull out the toys and start to beat me.
It depends on what type of toys it is, though. Yeah.
I have a high tolerance for pain.
Oh, God.
So that don't threaten me with a good time.
That doesn't work for everybody. So
No, that does not work for
it
everybody.
doesn't. So if you change it to a point where
Yes.
someone's uncomfortable and they decide they don't want to be a part of this, that's a lack of consent. It changes the situation. Now, sometimes people are in situations where they don't want to do things, but they feel as though they have to because of the situation they're in. And they don't know how to tell the person they're uncomfortable because if they're in this situation. Like, how do you tell somebody if you're in a situation?
So,
Yeah.
if we're in a situation, right, and I consented to the situation, but now I feel uncomfortable, and I don't feel comfortable telling you that I'm uncomfortable, whose fault is that?
Well, that's in that situation, that's your fault. In that situation, if you don't feel uncomfortable on a one-on-one situation with someone and you don't tell them, it's not their fault. But it all depends on the factors of which you don't tell them. If they have you under conditions where you feel like you might be hurt if you tell them, that's not your fault because they're making you feel as though you're afraid that you're going to be hurt. So it depends on the situation.
Okay, that's different because I'm a woman, right? And I always tell other women that you have the right to change your mind at any moment,
You do.
right? I could tell you yes, 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 yes. But honestly, in all reality, I talk about sex and all that, but the vibe is everything for me.
The vibe is everything.
Vibe is everything for me. So I could be saying all this stuff on the phone because I'm in the good mood and I had too much whiskey tonight. And I might be saying something to you, but then when we actually get into it, it could be a smell that I smell and be like, oh no, this ain't it for me.
And that's happened to me.
Right? Or it could be the environment, or it could be I have too much on my mind that day, or anything that could be like, you know what, I'm not feeling this situation.
Yeah.
And I'm quick. Like, if I'm not feeling something, I'm not going to force myself to see it through.
Yeah.
If I'm not feeling it, I'm going to tell you, look, I'm not feeling it. And you might never see me again, or we might could try this again another day.
Yeah.
Right? Most of the time, you're not going to see me again. If that happened. But it could be any little thing, and it'll be like, so consent can change.
You can.
Right? So being
it does.
It does, right? So for my people who watched episode 5, you kind of know the history of Mr. Clay Howard. I didn't even go into introducing him, right? But Mr. Clay Howard is the gentleman, one of the gentlemen workers that was called upon or mentioned in the Cassie and Diddy trial, okay? And he was paid to give a service.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that you also have a lawsuit where you feel like your consent was violated.
Yeah.
Right, so tell us how your consent was violated.
I feel like my consent was manipulated, and it was manipulated.
Manipulated.
Because consent was, I gave my consent believing that I was in a monogamous situation. And I know this woman had a relationship she was in. But monogamy can be centered around two people. Because if she's in a relationship with a gentleman who can't satisfy her and she calls me to satisfy her, then that, to me, is the purpose of why I'm there. Because this guy can't satisfy her. So I'm called for this reason for 8 years, 7 years, however long it is, believing that the only reason I'm coming is to satisfy this woman, only to find out that I'm being lied to and that she's sleeping with people all over the country, burning people and putting people in situations where they could possibly lose their life or encounter things that they can't get rid of. That's where I feel the problem with her came in. So I can't consent to something that is not factually true from the beginning, if that makes sense. You know, like, you can't lie to me to get me to agree something, and then when I find out that you're lying to me, think that I still consented to it. I didn't. You lied to me, and this is why I agreed, because I didn't know what was going on.
So you were under the belief that you were the only other person that Cassie was sleeping with besides her partner.
True.
Diddy.
I really believe that. This is the only reason I had unprotected sex with her. She told me this and asked for my test results every time I saw her.
To be clear, you were having unprotected sex with her under the impression that you were the only person besides her partner that she was having unprotected sex with.
Yes, and I showed her test results every month to validate and confirm that relationship they were demanded of me.
Does it change because you were being paid?
No. I don't think so at all. I think they paid me to try to keep it professional so no emotions got involved in it. But it doesn't change the consent of the situation or the fact that I was manipulated. Because if this was reversed and it was a woman and a woman found out all of this was going on and decided to seek justice against a man, no one would question her. Look at what just happened with Shannon Sharp. This woman got $20 million for consensually being his prostitute and asking him for black semen. She got $20 million. Yeah, that's the situation. She had some conversations with him. Give me that black babies in my belly. All of this. And she was able to...
I mean, I had 2 black babies in my belly. They're beautiful. I love my black babies.
Black babies are beautiful, especially
black babies
intimacy.
are beautiful. But that's like a kink.
Yeah.
Right? So she was able to sue?
She sued and she got a settlement of $20 million. And you don't hear people talking about that.
I did not hear
You
that.
don't. You don't hear
Why do you think that her story wasn't as sensationalized as yours?
Well, one, it's because it was sensationalized. They talked about it in the terms of Shannon Sharp being an offender and her being a victim. So it was sensationalized. But I think I'm being treated differently than someone like her who sues, one, because I'm a man, and two, is because I'm an African-American man. They can see me as a pimp. They can see me as a bank robber. They can see me as a drug dealer, but they can't see me as a victim of a massive manipulation like this. That's impossible. And I think that's my problem. If I was and this is no disrespect to the pretty little white girls, if I was a pretty little white girl, a Spanish girl, everybody would be like, oh my God, Diddy and Cassie are monsters. This is a woman saying it. But because I'm a man saying it, no one wants to hear it. And remember, again, most of who I'm talking about is Cassie. I'm not talking about Diddy. So I believe that's the major double standard.
Was there ever a time where you felt pressured into saying yes, even when you weren't fully aligned?
In that encounter with Diddy and Cassie, or just in my regular...
In regular life.
Yeah, I could say when I was younger, I've been in with women.
I mean, that's who you sleep with.
Yes, exactly. Because I wanted to know if we were talking about sexual situations.
We're talking about sexual situations. So we're talking about specifically in sex. A time where you felt pressured into saying yes, even though you didn't feel fully aligned.
In my personal life, I don't think I've ever felt pressured to say yes to sex. Because if I didn't like someone, I would just say no. I would make an excuse to get out of there. But
I felt pressured to say yes, not being fully aligned, not pressured to say yes because of somebody forcing me to say yes, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna say yes, but I know you're not the one.
Yeah, but you don't want him to be mad at you or something like that.
Maybe I just want to fuck.
Oh, okay.
And I got a need that needs to be met. So maybe I'm pressuring myself.
Yeah.
To say yes.
I was about to say that.
Even though I know that you're not my person and you're not the person I want to be with for the rest of my life and run into the sunset with you. But I'll be like, all right, fuck it. I got a need that needs to be met. He could meet my need. And girl, get yours.
I wouldn't say that's being pressured, though. I would say that's more you, how can I put this? You kind of assuaging to it, maybe just relenting to the situation because you're
in real life,
in it.
I don't feel like nobody's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's not like pressure. Pressure is an outside situation compelling you to do something.
So you
that's
feel
pressure.
like pressure comes from outside and not people don't apply pressure to themselves?
No, I think people convince themselves to do anything. I don't think it takes pressure for people to convince them. If you're in pressure because someone's threatening you, that's different. But if it's you making a decision, you're just trying to talk yourself into doing it. You're convincing yourself to do it for your own needs. That's not pressure. You're not being pressured to do it because it's you making the decision for yourself. It's nobody outside.
Do you feel that there's a difference between authentic consent and just agreeing to something?
Yeah. People agree to things a lot of times to appease other people. When you authentically accept something, it's because you want to do it.
Yeah, in the lifestyle, we talk about enthusiastic consent.
Meaning you want to participate. Yes.
When the person is like, yes, turn me out. I want this. I'm so excited about this. As opposed to being like, yeah, I'll just agree to give you some. I'm just here, so I might as well, right? Like, there's a difference between those consents.
And it's a difference in the energy level, too. You see it.
So what do you think the difference in the energy level would be?
When someone wants to be involved in something, there's excitement. There's a need. There's a desire to do it. When someone doesn't want to do something, they're like, whatever. Okay, yeah.
So if I say yes and I just agreed, does that mean I didn't want to do it?
Depending on how you say it, you might not have wanted to do it.
So do you think that men should pay attention to people, not just men and women, should pay attention to the energy behind the consent.
I think you should pay attention to people's cues, definitely. Because
Right?
it's the only way you can really have a good encounter if you know that the person you're with is enjoying it, consensual. This is how good sex happens, because two people pay attention to each other. You know
Right.
what pleases one person. You know that if you went in this spot, you know it makes the person feel a certain way. That's all good sex is. It's paying attention to someone.
So good sex is paying attention.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that bleeds into relationship, period.
It
Right?
is.
Like, just as a friend, I'm paying attention to your energy.
Yes.
Right? As a boyfriend or a girlfriend, I'm gonna pay attention to your body cues as you respond to me for whatever I do for you.
Plus their cues, yes.
Correct. So there's different things that you got to take into account for consent, and I want to kind of educate people because I have brothers. I'm the only girl. I have two brothers, and I'm kind of the black sheep of my family. Not kind of, I really am. But the guys in my family have been cooler with me than the girls.
Okay.
Right. So really, in my family, is all men. That I only fuck with the men. Okay. And I love my brothers and my boy cousins so much. So I'm not a man hater, and I want to give men and women advice on consent.
Okay.
So there's certain things that I talk about when we're talking about consent, like making sure that the person is not too drunk to give consent, right?
That's important.
Right, and a lot of your encounters when you were doing the stuff, you were inebriated.
No, truthfully, when the funny thing is that I didn't even drink when I went to encounters until I met Cassie, and it's because they would force alcohol on me, like, "Oh, you want to drink?" And of course, you're in the
Ciroc, you was drinking Ciroc?
Yeah, that's the weird part.
What did Diddy and Cassie mix their Ciroc with?
Nothing. They were drinking straight.
They drank straight Ciroc.
Ciroc, De Leon, a lot of champagne. Cassie was an amazing drinker. Amazing drinker. Cassie had a stomach better than some men I know.
I mean, I'm a whiskey girl.
Yeah, she drunk De Leon.
I'll
She's
kill
a
a
tequila
bottle.
girl.
I can't stand tequila. I would kill a bottle of whiskey and I'll kill a bottle of champagne.
Whiskey's a man's drink. That's impressive. Cause she would drink, so she'd drink it by the bottles. Like I'd see her turn the tequila bottle up and just guzzle it. Like, damn, you just drank all? Like, yeah, it's nothing.
So guys, when a person is too inebriated, too under the influence of anything, they are not giving informed consent. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to get consent from the person while they're sober. If when I'm sober, I'm like, and then when I get drunk, I'm like, you might want to be careful about me. Because tomorrow I might wake up and say, oh no, he got me drunk.
And there's a lot of men in jail right now because that happened.
There are a lot of men, and I
in jail
care.
because that happened.
I care about my brothers. I care about my cousins. I care about my male friends. I care about you.
Yes.
Right. So these are things that guys you got to think about. When a girl is too twisted, her consent is not valid. Okay, and in the court of law, you will get in trouble. You can the girl could say, "I was too drunk. I don't know what was happening." And now you in trouble for violating consent.
Rape is the easiest crime
Okay.
for a man to be charged with after the fact.
After the fact, and the girl could have been with it the whole time, but now she got too saucy, and maybe tomorrow she don't even remember what happened, and she decides to call the cops and be like, yo, I don't remember what happened last night. I think he touched me.
Yeah.
I think he fucked me, and now you in something. Now you in a big legal situation.
Just say it, a
that
rape
just
case. You got a rape
because,
case.
right? You have a rape case.
Because that's what you're going to catch.
Right? And,
Yeah.
and it's serious, guys. So consent is serious. And gentlemen, and I'm talking to the men now. My show is for women, but I'm talking to the men because I care about you. Okay? The woman has to give you enthusiastic consent in a sound mind, meaning that her mind is not altered by any drugs or alcohol. Once there's drugs and alcohol involved, she can always say that she did not consent.
It's a way around that, though, fellas. Just record her
What's the
giving
way?
consent. Record her giving consent.
Record her
Giving consent. Don't be afraid to take out your phone and record.
I mean, in the truth, I feel like we need to make everybody sign NDNAs.
And DNA don't work.
I feel like you got to make everybody sign a consent form. I consent to this. I consent to this. I don't consent to this. You know, because a person could take away their consent at any moment.
NDNAs only apply to civil situations. They don't apply to
NDNA
criminal.
is more for privacy, right?
Yeah, they don't apply to a criminal charge. Somebody could sign an NDA and still press charges on you. Look at Cassie. She signed the NDA and she just testified against Diddy that everything she signed the NDA to, it has no effect on the criminal prosecution.
If a person is sleeping, one time I was at a party, right, and there's a lifestyle party, and it was in a hotel where people go from room to room, like playing.
Yeah.
You could walk into different rooms and see people playing, or you could play with random people, whatever. Of course, they have to give you consent. So this one guy went to the girl and she was sleeping. He woke her up. And he's like, yo, I'm going to give you some, you know, we was talking, I'm going to give you some, whatever. Old girl didn't even know who was talking to her because this is her story. When she woke up, he woke her up out of her sleep. She thought it was somebody else who she just finished playing with.
Yeah.
So she didn't even know who this person that was talking to her was. She barely opened her eyes.
Yeah.
She said, she was like, oh, I thought it was the guy I just finished playing with.
Yeah.
And I thought he came back for seconds.
Yeah.
The dude was sleeping in her bed. Another dude came.
Yeah.
So she's thinking it's the dude sleeping in her bed.
Yeah.
So she didn't even open her eyes, which I feel is her responsibility. Ladies, open your freaking eyes.
That's crazy. She wouldn't even open the eyes to look at the same person.
Because she thought it was the same person.
I don't give a
right?
fuck.
You
She should have looked.
I mean, if it's my nigga, right, and I'm sleeping, I'm going to just turn. I love keeping my eyes closed because I think I'm going to go back to sleep even though I might not. But I'm going to keep my eyes closed and just nudge my booty so you could get there. You know what I'm saying?
That's your man. That is
but
somebody
that's my man.
Yeah.
That's not someone at a party. But again, she was half asleep. The guy knew. The next day, he texted her.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I don't know if you remember our encounter last night because you was half asleep, but we had so much fun.
Oh.
Right? She was half asleep.
Yeah.
I know this girl personally. She was getting medication treatments. She was under treatments.
Yeah.
She was sleeping. She was not under drugs. She was not drunk. She was sleeping because she wasn't feeling well. And, you know, this person came while she was sleeping and woke her up and jumped in. Guys, if a woman is sleeping, you don't have consent. Unless she's like your woman and y'all sleep together in the same bed or whatever. But if a woman's sleeping, you don't have consent. Or man. Ladies, if a man is sleeping, you don't have consent.
Most of us won't say no, but you don't have consent.
and do you think that there's a stigma with men that I feel like I've seen more women be more aggressive than men are?
Oh, yeah, they are.
Women are more aggressive than men are. I'm not aggressive that way. I never really like hit on a guy or initiate things because I want to know that the guy is really, my kink is knowing that you're into me.
Which it should be.
Okay. Praise and worship me and then you could get something. Okay. But I'm not into throwing myself at anybody. That's not my thing. I'm not throwing myself at you. I need you to work for me. Because that effort that you put in, that's what turns me on. Okay? I'm turned on by effort.
Anybody would be, especially a woman. You want to know you're attractive.
Everyone has different things. I'm just talking about myself.
Okay.
Right? Myself, my kink. I have a praise kink. Right? I need to be praised and worship. I need to go home feel like I was a goddess. If I'm not getting that, then I'm not interested. Don't even waste your time. If you're not coming to spoil me and make me feel like the queen of the world, even if it's just for a little while, then it's not worth my time. I'd rather just be home playing with myself on my couch.
That's why I'm going to Colombia, where the women treat me like I deserve to be worshipped.
I do the same for my men.
Yeah.
I'll do the same for my men, but I need to see that from the man first. Reason being is because men will chase tail.
Yes, we will.
But if they're serious about a woman, they're going to go above and beyond for a woman they're serious about.
That's true.
So I need to see the difference. I need to know that you're not chasing me just for my tail. I need to know that you understand and know that you're privileged to be in my space.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So if I see that you're putting effort into being in my space and effort into me, then that makes me want to open up to you and I'll give you everything. But I will not give a man a king treatment if I'm not getting queen treatment.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I will not. The math ain't mathing. Okay, but in that sense, that's my thing. That's my kink. My kink is a worship kink. So if you want to worship me, holla at me. And my cash app is $ Doc Izzy. That's the best way to get my attention.
I was just gonna say her Cash App is still open.
But it's not just about the cash app. It's just about me giving consent and knowing, right? Um, what are things that people should take notice of so that they know that they're getting the informed consent?
Body language. That's
Okay.
important. That's probably first is body language.
And pay attention to body language.
Body language is a big deal. What people don't tell you with words, they definitely tell you with body language. Closed offness, I want to say, lack of eye contact, sweating, shaking. It's signs you look for when you know people are uncomfortable and don't want to do anything. And most men know that. You know when a woman doesn't want to have sex with you because she's not wet.
And some men will still take it anyway.
And some men will still take it, try to force it in there. I personally can't have sex with someone I know is not willing to have sex with me. This is why I'm so adamant about Cassie. I knew what was going on there. I knew what she wanted to do. If I saw any sign that this woman didn't want to have sex, I couldn't have performed.
Do you think that power dynamics play a role in consent?
Yeah, they definitely do.
How?
Money controls things, position control things, power dynamic. I know it played a hell of a role in my consent. I would have never went through a lot of the things I went through if I wasn't with the people I went through. Like I would say a less important individual, they wouldn't have been able to do to me what they did for so long once I found out who they were. Like the just sitting there for 3 or 4 days. I didn't go to Miami to be there for 3 or 4 days. I went there for a day or two. I shouldn't be here for 4 days because you won't give me back my clothes and my phone. Like I wouldn't have went for that with somebody else. I'd have been like, fuck that, give me my clothes, I'm gonna break your jaw.
But they compensated you monetarily for that.
Oh no, they would like I would be called to Miami and promised 20 or 30 grand and given six.
Okay, so let's say you was called for 1 day, but you stayed for 3. Did they pay you more for more days?
I would be called to Miami and promised 20, 30 grand, held there for 3 or 4 days, and then given six. It doesn't matter if they gave me 5 or 6. The point is, you told me you were.
Well,
going to
that's
give
a
me
breach
30.
of contract,
It's
right?
a breach
Because now we agreed to a certain price, and now you're changing the price.
It's a breach of contract if it's legal. It's coercion if it's not. You're promising.
So because this is not a legal transaction,
Yes.
now it becomes coercion.
It's coercion. It can't be a breach of contract if there's no contract
So
involved.
explain how that's coercion.
Well, coercion is you promising me something that you're not going to give me for the purposes of having me do something that you want. So for $5,000 or $6,000, considering I was tired of the situation, I wouldn't have came. So you promised me 20 or 30 grand to entice me enough to get on the plane and come. That's coercion. If you manipulate me with something to get me to do something illegal, that's coercion.
Okay. So how do you think a person should communicate their boundaries?
Verbally and by telling you immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. Immediately.
So like as soon as you have a change of heart or you're not feeling the vibe, you could easily simply say, listen, I know I said that I was down, but I'm not with it today. I'm not feeling the vibe.
And this
Right.
comes from like experience of being in the situation. Everybody's not going to do that, because some people, when you're in those situations, you may be afraid, you may be nervous, you're not comfortable speaking your mind.
Did you ever feel like when you were in an encounter with Cassie, not Diddy and Cassie, but when you were in an encounter
We're both of
with
them.
Cassie,
Yeah.
that you did something that you wasn't really in the mood to do?
All the time. Like the constant masturbating, I didn't want to do that. There were times where she would have me like masturbate so much that the skin on my penis would peel, and that's painful. It's painful. It's very, very painful. Like you have to start like jerking and being real sensitive of how you stroke because that's softer skin around your penis.
It's tender.
It's tender. So yeah, there was plenty of times. That's probably, I would say, the worst thing that I would ever be forced to do in there was that.
So let's talk to the young people for a minute, or just anybody.
Okay.
Everybody, because the rules that apply to young people apply to old people too. Okay, I'm in the middle. I'm not old, but I'm like halfway there, right? Um, you have to be clear about your boundaries, right?
Mm.
And maybe because you were, do you feel like because you were being paid, you couldn't say no?
I
Or
think, now thinking about this, I got to be honest, we can always say no. But I think at the time I was in such a position that I was afraid to say no to lose the situation. But we can always say no.
so you was afraid to say no because I mean you were getting paid good money for these
For
situations,
what I
right?
thought at the time, considering, yes.
Yeah, so you were at that time you were a guy just coming out of prison. You didn't have a lot of money,
Mm.
so these little pick me ups were enticing,
Yeah, they were hella
right?
pick
These
me
these
ups.
nice payments,
Yeah,
right? So what were your payments like?
consistent.
They were consistent, okay, but like how much
5 grand, 6 grand.
each pop?
Yeah, each pop on. I would say the lowest that I was ever paid was maybe $1,500. One time where Diddy drugged me and kicked me out. He still gave me like $1,500. But
I
it
mean,
was
$1,500 for one night. That's
it
still
wasn't
good
even a
money.
whole night. I might have been in there an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
$1,500 for an
Um,
hour.
I might have been there an
Did
hour and a
he
half. I might
call
have been
me?
there. I might have, and that's the truth. I think it was only an hour. But he gave me 1,500. Could have made sure I got in the cab, but he didn't. But he gave me the 1,500. But every other time it was like 5 grand. The time I won the sexathon with Daniel Phillip, it was like 11. Um, well, the first time they flew me to Miami, I think it was like 15, closer to 20. And that was the highest. So I will be fair enough to say that they would G me off every time I saw them. But considering
So
what,
because you were getting paid this high amount of money,
what I thought was
right?
high,
Which
yes.
at that time, that's like for someone like us
Yeah.
coming from the hood,
Yeah.
coming from a low income family, and not having our shit right, right?
Yes.
And these big payoffs
Yeah.
is like, all right, I'm gonna put up with these things so I could get this payoff. Like the
Exactly.
money's worth it,
Yes.
right?
You make the money worth it to deal with the situation. You make the money worth it. You find a way
So
to be.
because you were getting compensated. So if I wasn't getting paid,
Mm.
right? And it's like it's not worth it for me to say yes.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting paid these big sums of money,
Mm.
right? So it's like, oh my God, I have to do these things so I could keep getting this money. I don't
Yeah.
want to lose this allowance
And that's
or
the
this
premise of coercion.
situation, right?
That's the premise of coercion. This is how prosecutors prosecute men who do the same thing to women that Cassie did to me. Prostitutes,
But men do the same thing to women too.
they do it all the time.
Cassie did it to you. A
But
woman did it to a man.
yes,
But men do it to women all the
the
time.
time.
And women always succumb to a man that has money.
Yes.
And be like, oh, but he got money and he's going to pay me and he's going to do all these things.
Yes.
And he's going to take care of me. So I have to put up with his
And they do.
whatever demands he gives me, even though I'm not I'm not in full agreement with it, but because he's paying me or taking care of me, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Now, at what point do I take responsibility for me saying yes because I wanted this money?
Mm.
Right? I wanted this money and I was willing to do whatever I had to do to keep getting this payoff.
Yes.
Right? At what time do I take responsibility for me wanting this money?
The moment you become aware of what the situation was, you have to take some responsibility. Like even me, I take responsibility because I should have known better at the time. But that doesn't, I want to say, that doesn't take the guilt off the person who violated you. If I did something wrong to you, that doesn't excuse me because at the time I didn't know and now I accept responsibility. That doesn't mean that you didn't still violate me because I'm accepting responsibility for my own ignorance and stupidity. You still violated me. The only difference is now I'm aware of what I did wrong myself that allowed you to violate me. So that doesn't mean that you're not a victim because, you might not have realized it till later and then you said, okay, this is what it is. It's the same thing.
Okay, so you still feel like the person is still a victim,
Yeah.
even though they were being paid
They are a victim.
and they were willing to do what they had to do to get that money.
Yes. Totally.
But it's like you knew I needed this money, so you kind of waved it in front of me like a carrot
Yes.
to make me do what you
They
wanted
coerced
me
you.
to do.
That made you a
That's
victim.
called
They preyed on your
coercion.
weakness. They preyed on what you needed to coerce you and get you to do something that you would not have done without that action. That is the definition of coercion.
So sometimes you have to be very, guys, you ladies and gentlemen, you have to be very clear on your boundaries and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, right? Because all money is not good money,
Amen.
right? All money is not good money, and all gifts are not good gifts,
Yeah.
and all people are not good people.
No.
Okay, so with that said, I want you guys to really think about when you're doing things. Are you doing it because you want to do it, or you doing it to make another person happy?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You have to think about those things, whether you're getting paid or not. Right? I want you to think about, um, are you doing it for your pleasure, or are you doing it just to shut the person up, or to fill a promise that you really didn't even know that you was really ready to keep? Right? Because at any time you can change your mind,
Yeah.
and you could change and say whatever, right? So we want to shift from obligation sex to mutual desire. I don't want to give you some just because I said I would.
Yeah.
I want to give you some because I wanted to give it to you.
In a perfect world, that's how it works.
Right? In the real world, that's how it's supposed to be.
It is.
That's how it's supposed to be. I should give it to you because I wanted to give it to you, not because there was some unspoken, or even if it was spoken, even if I made a promise yesterday, even if I made a promise 5 minutes ago and now I changed my mind, I should be still allowed to change my mind. But it's up to you to communicate that.
Yes.
Okay? So with that said, guys, I want to remind you, don't be afraid to have these dirty discussions. That's why these discussions are important for people to have. That's why it's important to be able to articulate your wants, needs, desires, and your boundaries. The things that you're willing to accept and the things you're not willing to accept. Okay? Real quick before I shut down, I want to remind you guys that my Slutty Slumber Party is November 7th through 9th. Okay, get your tickets. The spaces are very limited, and you're in for the time of your life.
Are you offering transportation for these women for this trip?
I'm not offering transportation to this trip, but there are groups of women who are carpooling.
So you can get a ride. That's the
So
I'm looking out for you.
If you need a ride or if you need transportation to get there, just communicate with me so that we can make it work. Okay, I'm here to make everything work for you. My desire is to make you feel like a queen. My desire is to make you feel empowered inside the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. This event takes place in the Poconos.
Ooh.
We have a whole house, 25 women. We all want the same things. We all want to be able to express our desires and to live out our fantasies. And I'm going to help open that door for you to make you more comfortable, to be able to express yourself and live your truth, because we want to live authentic.
Exactly.
Right?
The only way to live.
That's the only way to live. So with that said, guys, don't be afraid to have dirty discussions. You could cut. Thank you.